We have a great show lined up for you tonight. My friend and soon to be yours, Michael Yeager, is here. We have a special visit from comedian Gary Shandling, will be here. And we have another special visit lined up with singer Johnny Mathis. And now I'm going to ask you to please give it up for Raul Lomas and the world's most invisible band. So our first segment is something I would like to see become a regular occurrence on nighttime, but I need your help, so allow me to explain.
Who are the not ready for bedtime players? Well, hopefully you remember back to the 70s and the start of the show Saturday Night Live. That cast called themselves the not ready for primetime players. They inspired me to come up with this group of individuals who would call themselves the not ready for bedtime players, and the group is basically made up of any residents and team members who find themselves brave enough to want to tackle any of the skits that I can come up with in this twisted mind of mine. If you're ever interested in becoming a not ready for bedtime player, please consider this your open invitation. The ability to act is not a requirement. And now, it is my pleasure to present to you for the very first time ever, the not ready for bedtime players.
Hi Jerry, how are you doing today? Oh, that's a great question. Well, we have a total fitness class, we have a bingo class, we have a lifelong learning presentation.
We're going to have a garden club. We're going to name off all the garden plants. We're going to be doing a sunshine committee, a welcome committee. We have light fishing going on, a big party. And now we have also our Catholic Mass. We have down holiday. Jerry. We're going right back to
Don't forget, by the way, we need your help, right? We can't have the same three actors and actresses in every skit. I mean, we can, but, you know, variety is the spice of life. And we will be right back after these messages.
Coca-Cola has the taste you never get tired of. Always refreshing. That's why things go better with Coke after Coke after Coke.
You pickles, lettuce, cheese, and the pickles now.
Pickles, cheese, oh.
Lettuce and onion, sesame on seed buns.
I think they're describing a big...
To all beef, ham, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Say that again.
To all beef, ham, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
To all beef, ham, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onions, pickles, onions on a
McDonald's Big Mac, the big sandwich with great big taste that everybody's talking about.
Sesame seed bun, and we forgot the onion.
It's a bit say onion. It's said onion.
All right.
To all beef, ham, bacon, sausage, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
McDonald's Big Mac, the great big sandwich with a great big taste.
Lettuce, pickles, cheese. Hey, that's it.
You deserve a break today at McDonald's.
Where your dollar gets a break every day.
Before we get to our next segment, so you'll notice up here on the desk, I have water for myself, right? Should I get thirsty? And our guest will have water when he comes out. And by the way, that's a real live, legitimate, authentic Nighttime with Chaplain Epps mug sitting on the end of the desk there for our first guest. So, you know, that's if you find yourself, you say, I'd really like a mug. Well, you have two ways to go about getting your mug. A, you can be a guest on the show. Boom. Free of charge, right? I'll interview you for a few minutes. It's pretty painless. Secondly, you can give me $12 and I'll have a mug made for you. So whatever you want, however you want to do it. It is a bargain. $12 these days, right?
Hold the cup up so we can all see it.
I can't reach it from here. The desk is so big, and that brings me to my next point. This awesome, amazing desk was created and built by my friend Raul Lomas. My understanding is that the world's most invisible band did not help you with the desk, right? You're all on your own. So I was doing some thinking over the weekend, and really was bothering me that I have a mug, and our guest has a mug. Raul, I mean, I know you have some energy drinks, but you don't have a mug to drink out of, do you? No, of course not. If you did, the whole segment would be shot, right? So many of you might not know this, Raul. Do you know the name of your favorite baseball team off the top of your head? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. Is it the A's?
It is the A's, the Oakland A's. And so what I did, Raul, I bought you this World Champions 1989 Oakland A's mug just for you. I mean, you can use it whenever. Oh, thank you. So make sure Danny puts some water in there.
Water.
Yes, it's clean.
Clean enough.
I'm the most recent person to have drank out of that, Danny. If that's what you mean by clean.
Works great.
Terrific. Wonderful. Thank you for everything. I will have you notice that your mug is the biggest out of the three. So, yeah, I want to make sure that you don't, I mean, if you get thirsty, you can't sing, right? So if you're familiar with David Letterman, you know that David Letterman had a top 10 list during his show every night. I'm working with about 1/100th of the staff that David Letterman is working with. So I could not come up with the top 10. I decided I'm gonna, take it easy on myself. I've come up with a top 5 list for you, and there will be a top 5 list during every show. And this list comes from the home office in Rancho Cucamonga. The home office will be. So tonight's top 5 list.
It's nice there this time of year.
What's that?
I think it's nice there this time.
It is nice all year round. Southern California, right? Boo! If someone just booed Southern California, I don't think I want to go on. So tonight's top 5 list are the top 5 things not overheard during dinner in the dining room. Right? Now, it's very important you understand hear the idea. Anybody can go in and take a survey of the top 5 things overheard, right? That's very easy. But we wanted to do a poll. What's the top 5 things you're not going to hear, right? A lot of work went into this. Not, right, bro? The top 5 things not overheard during dinner in the dining room. Number 5, who wants to talk politics? Right? Not overheard. Yeah. Number 4, bring me an Arnold Palmer. Easy on the Arnold, heavy on the Palmer. Number 3, is it just me or is the Land O'Lakes Sputter Girl pretty good looking? Not overheard. Number 2, did I mention that I think we should talk about politics? And the number 1 thing not overheard during dinner in the dining room. You know what Arizona needs? More heat. And that is your top 5. Now our first guest tonight is actually one of my best friends in the whole wide world. In the time I've known him, he's moved from California to South Carolina and now to Arizona. Please welcome, like I said, my friend and soon to be yours, Michael Yeager. Michael, you have your microphone in hand. Don't be nervous.
He looks ready to go. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, he is. This interview might take a while because this is how we operate together. So Michael, our wives are best friends, and my understanding is that your first date with, by the way, my wife's name is Janae. Many of you have met her before. Michael's wife's name is Jeanette. So I don't want you to become confused during the interview and start wondering to yourselves, are Troy and Michael married to the same person? Their names are similar, but we're not married to the same person. So my understanding is that your first date with your wife, Jeanette, was pretty memorable. And so we'd like yeah, well, I think we're going to find out. So we'd like to know if you'd like to share a little bit about your first date, your dating experience with Jeanette before the two of you married.
Sure. So first I'll state that I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps maybe about a month or so before that, or no, several months. But anyway, so we actually have about a 7-year age difference between us as well too. And we met actually through a website called Match.com. And she signed up on the 3-day trial and hadn't met anybody, and her friends were kind of urging her to do it over spring break, I believe it was. And so on the last day, because she was going to have to pay, to continue, I had contacted her. I hadn't exchanged my email address yet, so I did. And then, so we started talking through that, and then we met. And so our first date was actually a movie at the Plenty Hills movie theater at the mall there. So we saw a movie, it was a baseball movie called Benchwarmers. It had Rob Schneider in it, and I still refer to this guy as Napoleon Dynamite. And John Lovitz and David Spade was in it as well too. So we went to that movie, and then afterwards we had dinner at...
Let me pause you right. What did Jeanette think of this movie for your first date?
Well, she likes baseball too, Okay.
I
mean, we're not like extremely avid fans, but we like watching it, and we'll go to, we've gone to several games.
So you both like the movie?
Yeah. So we liked the movie, then we went to dinner at Caro's, and I had actually steak and eggs, and because I'm from the South, I put ketchup on my eggs, and I actually put ketchup on my steak too. So,
And how did that go over with?
well, it went over okay. I found out though that apparently before our date, she was reading one of those fabulous magazines in the checkout lane, right? Because we all know that they're filled with wonderful, truthful information. So it said that you should not date somebody that puts ketchup on their eggs. It really did. Well, as luck would have it, she didn't listen to that magazine because we ended up getting married, sometime after that. And so, but she had a sandwich, and I thought it was maybe a tad odd that she wasn't eating the sandwich. She kind of picked different pieces out and was eating it piece by piece, So that was pretty much our first date. It was pretty late at night too, so.
I think that's men and women in a nutshell.